So today was the first day of recording consoles class. It was pretty cool. It was Tuesday, October 25th. I had lecture from 1:15 to 5. And the first half was obviously just like the first day of every month for whatever class. It's, discussing what the class is going to be like, how the grades are made up, and all this stuff, or whatever. We passed out some sheets here, and we'll get to that. But when we came back from the first half, when we came back from break, that's when we discussed signal flow, and we only talked about basic record mode signal flow because apparently mix mode gets crazy. And so the first sheet that really the only sheet we looked at was this one here, and it talks about basic record mode signal flow. And we have to memorize this, and we have to be able to reproduce this for the first quiz, which is the third or fourth lecture. So sometime next week, I gotta have this memorized by. So not only do I have to have those 15 microphones memorized from microphone class, but I have this one memorized as well. And we also got a sheet that's basically just like your patch bay. So we can get familiar with that and everything. But no, we took notes on the signal flow, and that was really the stressor for today, was understanding the importance of signal flow. Because signal flow is everything, because if you don't get signal flow, then you're not gonna really get far. So, that was interesting. And it's amazing how, this thing looks totally complicated at first, but it's really not that bad once you actually start to look at it. So, what I was saying is, it's just amazing how simple it really is, you know what I mean? Now the hard part was figuring out what all this stuff looks like knowing what your preamp button is going to look like on the mixing console, and everything else. But that's what the lab was for, which is tonight, because actually it's technically Wednesday morning. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. I got home a little bit ago. So I found out my lab group. I'm lab group 16, just like in the other class, and I think all my lab times are from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. for recording consoles. So I don't think it switches around. From what I saw, it was all 1 to 5 a.m. And so, it was pretty cool. I'd never been to the part of the school that our classroom was in. Basically, I've actually got video, so I think what I'm gonna do is, I might edit it in. Actually, no, I'm not. I took video with the iPad, but I think it was kind of blurry and it was kind of fast. So I'm gonna bring in my actual camera next time I go in, and I'll really give you a good look at what we're working on, because there's 6 people per group, and there's 2 groups per lab, so there's 12 people in the lab at a time, per instructor or whatever. So it's twice the size of the microphone lab groups, but that's okay. Because each of us, there's 12 stations in the lab room, and so each of us gets our own big, huge mixing board. It's 24 channel, and I'll have to get some video because there's lots of stuff. And I was cheesy grinning all day today because, for the first part of lecture, he was like, so you want to see what kind of gear you're going to be working on? And we were like, yeah. And then he puts up this picture, and it was big mixing boards. I'm just freaking out, I'm smiling real big and everything, because this is where it gets good, you know what I mean? So this is why you don't want to fail physics, and you don't want to fail math and all that stuff, because it's just going to delay the time that you have to get to the fun stuff. And I think it's kind of interesting how they have the really awesome class right after the bullcrap classes. I mean, I guess there really is no easy way to change over it. I mean, I didn't think physics was that bad. I thought music theory was worse. And I mean, they were both easy for me. But for everyone else, physics really sucked. And so everyone is just loving the fact that they got out of a crap class and into an awesome one. But I'm just happy for the fact that it's just an awesome class in general. You know what I mean? Both of them, microphones and recording consoles. So, you know, I'm excited. Another thing about today is that actually I went down to distribution, and give me just a second, I gotta get it. I actually picked up this stuff from distribution today. They told us at the end of lecture that distribution had a spool of CDs, and we could go and pick them up, but they also came with the little window envelopes, so you have something to keep your CDs in. And what they recommend is that, like at the end of each lab, you go ahead and burn a CD, and you can keep track of your progress. You know, so you can actually see and listen to how you progress in your mixes and everything. And tonight's lab was kind of interesting. Like, we get there and we start, and not everybody showed up, which I thought was a bit interesting. But anyway, all the chairs are comfortable. The chairs that they have there are rolly chairs, and they're comfy, and they lean back. It's nice. So in addition to the chairs, we have our own big, huge station thing. Anyway, so he showed us what we were going to be working on, what we were going to be focusing on, and he was like, alright, so go ahead and roll back to your stations and go ahead and get started. So, rolled back and we logged into the computer, and we just basically started playing. I mean, that's what tonight's lab was just playing around with the stuff. There really was no set goal other than to play and screw around with the volume faders, the EQ, and the pan. So those are the three things that we had to work with tonight, and just to familiarize ourselves with the board and everything, and kind of get a feel for where stuff was. And we also had another goal for tonight was to get sound through our headphones. And actually, I'm going to have to bring like an extender, because my Beats little earbuds, they're not long enough. So it was a bit awkward tonight, because the headphone output is like, it's not anywhere near where you're sitting. It's like way up on one of the, I guess, the shelf kind of things. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I get video next time, or a better video, I should say. But I mean, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And basically, there was, I guess that all the computers in the lab room are connected to a hard drive network or something. So we created our own folder for the students' hard drive thing, and then we went to the work hard drive. Well, no, they're both on the hard drive, but there's a student folder and then a work folder. And the work folder has all the examples, and then we save our own work into the file that we made for ourselves. So he was like, go ahead and pick out whatever song you want, and just, screw around with it and make it sound good, or, as best you can, and just familiarize yourself with the gear. So that's what the purpose of tonight's lab. It wasn't to actually mix and make anything sound like good, you know what I mean? Obviously you want to make it sound good, but it was more focused on figuring out what does what on the board in terms of the basics of the basic. So it was a lot of fun. I was the last one there, because it was pretty much like, as long as you, because we'd been there about an hour and a half or so, and he was like, usually this is about the time we go on break, but because we have the graveyard shift, he was like, I'm not supposed to let you go early, but I know you guys probably have some 9 a.m. classes tomorrow, so, and I don't know if anyone else did, but anyway, he was like, pretty much, whenever you feel like you're ready to go and you've played with it enough, go ahead and zero out the board, I'll check it, and I'll sign you out of the computer, and you can go. So, naturally, of course, I end up somehow being the last one left, and so I started asking him tons of questions and stuff. And I feel kind of funny, which I know I shouldn't, and I'm gonna break this habit, and I'm gonna get over it, but, everyone else, whenever they're talking about stuff, they're like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what that is. And they'll be saying these answers to questions that aren't even questions. Like the instructors will be saying something, but then the other like classmates will be finishing their sentences and stuff. And I'm like, yo, like, I don't know any of this stuff. So that's a tad annoying. That like, I don't know if it's an I can't decide if I'm annoyed by the fact that I don't know this stuff already, or if it's because they know the stuff and they're showing off. I don't know. But I mean, we know what we know, and I'm here to learn, and I'm here to try and do the best I can, because it's a lot of information. Let me tell you, it was a bit overwhelming at first when I sat down in front of that board, and he was just like, just go and play with it. I was like, yeah, I don't really know what to do. But we did have the lab packs, and they kind of pointed us in the right direction. Because really, your mixing style and everything it's a creative thing. You got to have a little bit of creativity with it, and you're going to pick out your own style. But then, like I said, it was more focused on getting us used to the gear and kind of checking out the signal flow a little bit. He explained it all in the very beginning of really how it works, but because we weren't doing any like live tracking or anything, a lot of this didn't really. I guess it did apply, but not too much. But no, overall it was a good day. I'm happy. I was cheesy grinning all day because I mean, it's just cool, Like that's why I'm here. That's what I want to do is sit in front of those big, huge mixing boards and push buttons and turn knobs all day. So I know I have a lot of work to do in terms of really just diving in and getting into it a lot more. I guess what I'm gonna do is start researching different ways and different like famous mix engineers, or like Rich Costi is one of them. He's the main one that I've heard of and I've read about, because obviously he's done all the Mars Volta albums, so naturally that's where I started first. But he's also done way more than just that. So I'm gonna try to branch out and see what other mix engineers have done awesome stuff and read how they do things and everything, and then try to apply that. And I'm really going to start looking on YouTube for videos and just trying to point out, like, not really to like learn stuff, but to like for microphones class, I'm going to start trying to look for videos of just people in the studio. I'm going to try to start pointing out to myself what kind of mic it is, and then figuring out the polar pattern, just researching and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video because I am tired. It's 4:18 in the morning. I got lab at 1, or not lab, see, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I got lecture at 1:15 tomorrow in the afternoon. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. It was a great day. Recording consoles is an awesome class. You make it past the first 3 months, and it gets really good. The first, technically, like if you know what I'm saying. Hopefully. Because I did the 1 month online, so for me it was the first 4 months. But if you come on campus straight away, you get past the first 3 months, first 6 classes, gets good, gets real good. It's way more hardcore, and they're really laying on the professionalism, but that's what I think it should be anyway. So, anyway, I'll see you tomorrow after another microphones and theory class. Should be a good one.